Wow, what a brilliant ride here on the Ducati Multistrada V4 Rally. So big, so heavy, so luxurious, and yet properly sporty as well. What was it like? That is what this video is about. Yes, in our 1000 PS lap time test track videos here on our supermoto circuit near Bad Fischau, this is not only the place where you can do your supermoto courses or, like today, a super sport course. We at 1000 PS also ride all kinds of different motorcycles here, including comfortable adventure bikes like the Multistrada V4 Rally, always under consistent conditions, just like today. 10 laps to warm up and then 1 lap at full throttle. And this time it is in a very special configuration with Bridgestone T33 tires ready for our 1000 PS adventure bike comparison test, where today I rode several adventure bikes back to back in direct comparison. And I have to say, when you are sitting in the saddle of the Multistrada V4 Rally, you first need to gather yourself again and consciously remind yourself what kind of motorcycle this actually is. Once you have ridden a few laps, you get the feeling, right, now I am really deep in racetrack mode here. You genuinely feel as if you are riding a very, very sporty motorcycle. I do not want to say completely racetrack oriented, but definitely a very sporty bike. That is fascinating. This lightness, this sporting character, this revvy nature, this lively feeling. And then when you get off and walk around it, you suddenly realize that this is the touring version of the Multistrada. There are even sportier versions above it. So this is the one with the big tank, the one that normally carries a luggage system, the one you use for long tours with luggage. And even this machine has unbelievably good handling, incredibly high speed, and a huge amount of riding pleasure. No question, it is one of the most expensive adventure bikes on the market. You do have to treat yourself to it. But when I sit in the saddle, I also have to say this. I really do get the feeling that I have spent a lot of money, but I also get the feeling that I am sitting right at the top of the food chain. There are motorcycles that are the exact opposite, like the Ducati Scrambler, where you feel that you do not need anything more, and that a motorcycle is defined by a handlebar and 2 wheels. This one here is genuinely defined by a level of perfection that has been achieved through an enormous use of technology. There is an incredibly high quality electronics package on board. Traction control, ABS, breathtakingly good, even here on the supermoto track. A really good chassis, which of course also adjusts electronically to the respective riding situation, and sporty brakes. And all of that, just as it stands here, we have the 19-inch Bridgestone T33 mounted here. That is on the Rally version. There are different Multistrada variants. And for me personally, I have to say it again and again, the Rally version is my favorite machine and one of the best motorcycles for me personally, full stop. What they have managed really well is this. Despite that big fuel tank sitting up there, giving you this enormous touring range, you still have a harmonious neutral line choice. You can really glide through the radius in a pleasant, balanced way, but at the same time, you always have the option to ride in a properly sporty manner. In everyday use, from my point of view, yes, there are a few small details. The integration with the phone is still something I would not describe as perfect. an Apple CarPlay solution would be the best thing. And when you climb on here, and how should I put it, if you are not totally in love with technology, it is always a little bit stressful until you have set everything up and get the feeling, now I know exactly what the motorcycle wants from me and how all these different options work. But once you have immersed yourself in it, you do get the feeling, okay, you are rewarded for it. The technology rewards you with a very high degree of perfection. What works well, and this is something you really have to credit Euro 5 models for again and again, is that the throttle response at low revs also worked very well here. I was able, even in the rolling phases and also in the braking zones, to really direct the engine in such a way that it felt harmonious and confidence-inspiring. Despite the high engine performance and despite the high weight, I felt absolutely comfortable in every situation. I have to say, this is a motorcycle that, perhaps unlike other adventure bikes, manages to combine three parameters as well as possible, despite its strong touring character. I think that is its greatest strength. Sportiness, accessibility, in combination with touring comfort. Take a Harley-Davidson Pan America, for example. That is also very comfortable, but it does not have the same level of sportiness, and it does not have the same level of accessibility. And every other adventure bike has its own peak, its own strengths. But if you want to bring these three things under one roof, if you do not want to be afraid of the bike, if you want it to be easy to ride but still sporty and comfortable, then from my point of view, it is currently the best motorcycle in the adventure bike league. I am curious to see where it ends up. Today, we now have the problem that the temperature has risen a little. We are now at 16 degrees asphalt temperature. The Harley-Davidson, on the other hand, I rode at 11 degrees asphalt temperature, and that does make a bit of a difference. We are now exactly in the range where the tire starts to work harmoniously. And next, I will ride the KTM. I am curious to see whether the Ducati fans are happy with me, and I am also curious to see where it places. This technology overload motorcycle here in our 1000 PS lap time table, which now contains more than 100 motorcycles. And I have tested all of them for you here on this track without crashing. I do it because you always post such brilliant comments underneath. Dear Multistrada V4 Rally riders, feel free to wave the flag for your bike, but also share your critical experiences with the motorcycle down below. Thank you, goodbye, and see you next time on 1000 PS TV.